WWE has officially been sold to Endeavor, and on top of that, they are merging with UFC. I'm going to talk about it. This is your Real Take Wrestling breaking news update. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell before we start. Big, monumental day in the history of not only professional wrestling, but combat sports. Today, Endeavor, the parent company of UFC, the one that bought UFC for $4 billion 6 years ago, has announced that it has signed an agreement to form a $21 billion global sports entertainment company that is made up of UFC and WWE, and the deal is done. Vince McMahon literally signed an agreement with the new CEO, or the CEO of Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, and apparently this deal came together rather quickly. It was talked about only in the past few weeks in very serious discussions, and it really came together Sunday when they reached an agreement. They announced it today. Vince literally signed the papers today. It's happening. Here is the official press release from Endeavor on this. Quote, this is from Ari Emanuel, the new CEO of this big parent company that's going to be called TKO, the company of UFC and WWE together. Here we go. It says, quote, this is a rare opportunity to create a global live sports and entertainment pure play built for where the industry is headed. For decades, Vince and his team have demonstrated an incredible track record of innovation and shareholder value creation. We are confident that Endeavor can deliver significant additional value for shareholders by bringing UFC and WWE together. So that's Ari Emanuel, the new CEO, or sorry, I keep saying new, but he is the CEO of Endeavor. He's basically the new owner of WWE. Now, the details of this deal are coming out slowly, but one thing that we do know is that the structure of the company is going to be as follows, this new company. So as part of this agreement, Endeavor Newsco CEO Ari Emanuel is going to be basically the top of this parent company. And then you're going to have Vince McMahon as the executive chairman of the company. Mark Shapiro is going to be the new president and COO of Endeavor. You have Jason Lubin, who's going to be the CFO of Endeavor. He's not really too important, but the really important key players here are Dana White, who's going to stay on as UFC president, and Nick Khan, who's going to head up the WWE end of things. So it's kind of like there's an executive branch, or there's an executive chair. I can't even speak. This news is so insane. But basically, there's an executive level, and then it kind of branches off into two kind of separate entities under the umbrella of Endeavor and in this new venture called TKO. So, and that's the other part about TKO that I didn't mention. There's so much news that's breaking literally as I'm talking. So I've mentioned TKO, which is like this new company that's being formed, or this new entity that's being formed with the merger of UFC and WWE. They are going, the plan is to take TKO public. So TKO, which is the merger between WWE and UFC, is going to be one entity going public on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's going to provide a lot of value for the shareholders. It's going to provide a lot of value for Ari Emanuel, who's buying the damn thing. As part of this deal, it was revealed that the Endeavor bought a 51% stake in the company at a valuation of, get this, $9.3 billion. So Vince said it would take an offer of $9 billion for him to sell the company. He got that, it looks like, at least according to these reports. This is huge. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are questioning this decision. I know there are a lot of people out there who are wondering how this came together, why this came together so quickly, and what this means for the future of not only professional wrestling, but combat sports. Are we going to see them become like one complete company together? No. UFC and WWE are not going to be, at least right now, they're not going to be like one show. And you're not going to have every week UFC people fighting WWE people and WWE people fighting on those big UFC shows. I think largely, especially on the UFC side, like, it's not going to change whether or not the UFC is legitimate. There's like this bad faith argument that's happening on the internet right now about that. So get that out of your heads right now. UFC is still going to be MMA. WWE is still going to be professional wrestling or sports entertainment. But I think what this allows now is for WWE and UFC to do things in partnership with each other. UFC has an existing deal with ESPN. This could allow WWE and Endeavor to come to the table and be like, hey, we can offer you, if we want to re-sign, we can offer you both UFC and WWE for X amount of dollars. And it gives them more leverage in these negotiations because ESPN can be like, whoa, wow, I'm getting both of these at the same time? That's nuts. On top of that, you have the ability now to have WWE talent, sit ringside at UFC pay-per-views. You have the cross-promotion of events and that in a market. And again, it's this thing of like MMA has always been trying to grab wrestling fans to try to grab their attention and get that crossover there. Same thing with professional wrestling. This allows Endeavor to really take a shot at it with all the resources available to them. I think that like this is going to be big. Like, and I talked about last night how WrestleMania has kind of like this year felt different. It felt like a live sports spectacle, which is exactly what it was. Pop culture phenomenon. And I think with this purchase by Endeavor, it's only going to grow and become bigger. And that's what this is about. We can talk about what this means for WWE. I know that one thing I'm definitely going to talk about in a future video is Vince McMahon in an interview with CNBC this morning apparently said that when asked about, whether or not he would be involved with creative moving forward, he said, quote, yes and no. So bad stuff still in the works. And look, there is the moral part of all of this where Vince McMahon, Dana White, both notoriously not so great people being kind of rewarded for this in this endeavor. And that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's evil wins sometimes. And that's a sucky part of business. But this is a monstrous deal. We're definitely going to be talking about this much more over this next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months. We'll talk about it. Let me know what you guys think about this, though, in the comment section below. If you haven't already done so, do me a big-time favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. WWE, UFC, together forever.